Could the bottle your castor oil comes in be doing more harm than good? Some say plastic bottles can make it toxic, but is that true? I'll be honest, I never really thought about this before until I was flooded with comments and warnings from so many in our health warrior circle. Comments saying, never use castor oil in a plastic bottle. It's dangerous. Only buy glass. At first I thought, really? Are people overreacting? So I walked into my home office, popped open my computer, did some research, made some calls, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether plastic bottles are safe, what kind of bottle is best, and what I personally recommend. So here's the deal. Much like socks and sandals, oil and plastic aren't always a great match. Just look at it. Castor oil is thick, rich, packed with lots of nutrients like vitamin E, omega fatty acids, and more. But it's also a natural solvent. Did you know that? Which means it can pull out whatever it's stored in. And when that whatever is plastic, Houston, we have a potential problem. Certain plastics contain BPA, phthalates, and other chemicals that have been linked to hormone disruption, metabolic issues, and a bunch of other stuff we don't want in our bodies. And when oil sits in plastic for a long time, especially in heat or direct light, there's a chance those chemicals could leach into the oils. Ugh. So does that mean that all plastics are bad? Not necessarily, because not all plastics are created the same. Not every bottle is a problem. Some plastics are designed to handle oils safely, while others break down over time. Night after night, sitting on the couch, reading, listening to presentations, some actually really engaging, and others I yawned my way through. But here's what I learned and what you need to know. PET plastics, this type of plastic, it's clear, sturdy, and recyclable. Think single-use water bottles. Those are usually made of this type of plastic. What you need to know is that plastics made of PET are not ideal for oils because they degrade over time. Next is HDPE plastics, or high density kinds of plastics. This type of plastic is more stable and more suitable for use with food. Think about the plastic takeout containers at the last restaurant you visited. Mine had sauteed shrimps, coconut rice in it, which I did not get to eat because somebody in my house thought it would be okay to relieve me of the shrimp. Got my mouth all ready for some shrimp. Anyway, that takeout container was probably made out of HDPE type of plastic. And because HDPE plastic is better than PET kinds of plastic, some companies or brands actually will use that kind of plastic, HDPE plastic. They will use that to store their oil products in. But what if your castor oil bottle doesn't specify the type of plastic that's used? Sadly, in that case, we have no idea what we're getting. And here's something else. Even plastics labeled safe are not 100% risk-free. Over time, tiny microplastics can still break down inside the oil. So I have to ask myself, do I want that in my body? Do you want that in your body? So what's the safest option? If you want to feel more sure-ish that your castor oil is pure, potent, and chemical-free, hands down, glass is the best choice, right? Glass doesn't react with oil. No chemicals, no leaching, no weird breakdown over time. Glass is better for long-term storage. As it seems, oil holds its nutrients better when stored in glass. Or at least that's what those who hang out in labs tinkering around doing stuff, that's what they say. Oh, and they also say that glass is safer if it's in heat or if it comes into contact with direct sunlight, unlike plastic. We're agreed, glass is great. But does it have any downsides? Sure, it does. Glass is heavier, breakable, and sometimes more expensive. So if you're planning to use castor oil on your skin for navel oiling, in your belly button, or even to ingest, then you should strongly consider, as someone who's been using castor oil for years. And like I said, in all honesty, I never really gave any consideration to the materials that the castor oil was coming in. I just wanted the benefits of the castor oil. The external packaging, I was clueless, as you can clearly see from all the wonderful comments that so many share with me. Thank you so much for opening my eyes to that. I am growing and learning something new every day. And I love that, so thank you. After researching, purchasing, and testing, here's what I recommend or highly suggest. If your castor oil is in a plastic bottle, check the label. At the very least, you want to see that it says it is made with HDPE, that high density type of plastic. If you want the safest option from the get-go, purchase castor oil in a glass bottle. Now, I've been hearing a lot of talk about how factories, when they get the castor bean and they process it for production so that it's made suitable for us to use here as consumers, that when they do that and they have it stored, that it's actually stored in plastic vats before it is that it comes to the floor for production for sale. And so they're saying because the companies are storing it in plastic, then it really shouldn't matter if we get plastic versus glass, which makes a whole lot of sense to me. Then I thought, well, even if the companies are storing it in plastic, then the very least I could do is to sort of cut off the continuation of any breakdowns in the oils that might be happening. Now, for my peace of mind, any castor oil that I have that's already in a plastic bottle, I transfer it to a glass bottle. Not just any bottle, a dark glass bottle for better long-term storage. I've linked some reputable castor oil brands in the description. But wait a minute. I don't think I addressed the original question, which was, is castor oil in plastic safe? The definitive answer is, it depends. Some plastics are better than others, but none are as safe as glass, because over time, oil and plastic could absorb tiny chemicals, especially if it's stored in heat or sunlight. Glass bottles keep castor oils stable, pure, and chemical-free. Glass or plastic, don't go using castor oil without first being sure you are not making these common mistakes that most people make when using and applying castor oil.